Welcome back to the Reality Guys. I'm your host, Brian, and today I'm talking 90 Day Fiancé The Other Way, Season 5. This is the Tell All Part 3. This is the final episode in the season. All right, so this is the third part. We pick up that right back up where Holly and Wayne were talking, and Holly walks off set. They take a little break. Holly and Wayne actually do FaceTime. They have like a I'd say pretty decent conversation where like things they need to work on, things they want to do, and they come to agreement. And I think that they took a step in the right direction, unlike a lot of these other couples that we're going to talk to about in a little bit. But this is the last time we actually focus on them. So I'm kind of glad they're done with. I kind of felt like I know that Wayne did some things wrong and so did Holly, but I feel like because Wayne wasn't there, he was kind of getting ganged up on a lot. He had like no allies in the situation, but I'm glad that he admitted some of the things that he did wrong, and we'll see what happens with them if they work it out or not. They decided that they still need to work on each other a little bit before they're actually going to go back to South Africa. All right. This is when it starts to get kind of weird on the show, obviously, because it's 90 Day Fiance. What do you expect? Shakana's ex Dan shows up I guess, on the stream or the chat or whatever he calls in because none of her family wanted to participate. Sarper is just kind of mulling around the. She kind of is she stinks. Danielle makes a point later in the episode that I think is super important, where she's like, I think it was Danielle actually. Let me see. I need to check my notes here. Yeah, like tell us one thing. You kind of claim that your relationship's perfect and you have all these things to say about everybody else. Like tell us one thing that you guys have worked on. And she just like kind of dances around the question and it doesn't go anywhere. But like she just this part was just crazy. This is the part where we saw in the preview where Shakana is asked, "Hey, would you want your daughter in this type of relationship?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, this is a perfectly good relationship. This is a healthy relationship." Somebody on the panel of the previous contestant says, "This is like weighing on the side of delusion," and we've been saying that probably I've said it the last two episodes for sure, but like even when I'm watching these episodes and I wasn't doing reviews, I was like, the delusion is strong in this one. So then Sarper, for some God knows why reason, he pulls out a book or it almost was like a notebook ledger where he kept track of all the women that he slept with. And he would have a page and it would have X's. And I would think that the pages were months. He said from like 98 to 2012 is what was recorded in this book. And I think it was like 1,000, 1,500 women in there. And Sean, the host, did like, I'm sure somebody talked in here, but the math was he was having sex with somebody once every 3.5 days, a new person every 3.5 days, which is crazy. And he apparently like loves numbers. He keeps all these momentums of like a bottle collection where it's like memories that he's been with these women, and like Shakan doesn't like it. Um, and then he surprises her and us with this ledger, and they were asking a bunch of questions. I wish they stuck on this a lot longer because if I was there, I would have like had a magnifying glass looking at all the clues and things in there. But like, so he had it was like X's. I'm gonna try to find a picture. If I can, I'll try to get a screenshot in here of what it was. But the color of the X meant how pretty the girl was. So it was a lot of black X's and then a couple, like a few red X's. And she kind of actually made a comment where like he didn't care about looks. He would have sex with pretty much anybody. So I'm wondering, like, for somebody that it's super weird. It's funny that like he's super particular about what she kind of looks like and all this stuff, but he didn't care about who he was sleeping with at all. And man, I I know this is like just diving down a deep hole, but man, I would love to know way more about this book. Way more about this book. She says she's not going to go see him until he gets rid of that and the bottle collection. I don't believe that for a second because she is a follower and a disciple of him. So then we move on to Mary and Brandon, and they're asked questions about like, hey, how's Brandon been with parenting and like supporting her? And Brandon says he calls Mary a bitch to get a reaction out of her. So she stands up for herself in an argument instead of saying sorry, which is just the strangest logic you'll ever know. His mom shows up, Angela, and as you remember from the season, she does not hold back on what she thinks and what she says. And I know she can come off, I guess, sometimes abrasive, but she is his mom, so I don't know. I think a lot of the things she was saying today, I agree with, and I think the panel agree with. Brandon says, I guess they kind of ask Angela like, "Hey, when he's calling you, like, what's it like? Like, why do you think he would call her a bitch and things like that?" And she said that Brandon would call her for money. Mary didn't want him to call her for money, and yeah, one of the fights they were talking about where like Mary wanted Brandon to turn down the music. And I guess he did turn down the music, but he went outside and listened to the music. And it's just like the communication fighting is so dumb. Like the stuff they fight about is so stupid. And I just feel bad for that kid. I feel bad for Midnight. And they were just like, look, you need to go to, Angela's like, look, you guys need to go to therapy individually first, and then you can work on each other. And Mary made a comment that like in the Philippines, it's frowned upon. Like if you go to therapy, you're viewed as crazy. TJ chimes in and says like, yeah, it's the same thing in India where you were viewed as crazy as well. So it must be like like part of Asia, like that part of Asia. I guess Philippines is down there, but it's still like in Asia technically, and uh, that it's viewed that way. So, and then Sarper actually made one point where like you can go online. So it's probably the only good point that he made the entire episode. Do the therapy. They show a montage of the turning off the router to go do what she wants. Mary would do that in the beginning of the season, and Brandon's mom was not happy about this clip because she's like, you, if he was doing those things, you would flip. If it just doesn't reflect, and like his sister, Brandon's sister, does not like Mary at all. Like she wouldn't show. Obviously, she didn't talk at all because she hates her, but she would always just say to her mom, like, what does he see in her? And it's a mess situation. The panel times is like, yeah, I don't think you guys should have had a baby. Like, I agree. Like they should not have had a baby. Mary says that she would visit the U.S., but she doesn't know about living there because her mom has asthma. I think it'd be better off for them if they moved to America, then they can have a little more structure because who knows what's going on over there. Then they also bring up social media. So apparently Brandon's not on social media at all, but then Mary is shaking her ass and dancing on, I don't know what it is, if it's TikTok, Instagram, not really 100% sure, but she tried to say like, oh, it's a dance that everybody does. And then like somebody was like, if he was dancing in a bikini, if he was dancing in a bikini, like a man bikini bottom, like how would you feel about that? And it's just such a double standard. And then it's funny because Sarper calls out Mary for being manipulative, and everyone's like, "Yo, you are the exact same way." It's just said differently, and it's just these people are just they're delusional. They think they're totally fine. It's crazy to me. I think Armando again doesn't say a lot, but I think to me he's the MVP. When he talks, he says something like I think I like him. I said Armando makes a comment that's spot on, and that's the comment where or he said it just like randomly, and I thought it was just so good. He's like, the people that have been talking for the last 5 minutes are the most toxic of all, and that was Mary and Brandon, Shakana and Sarper, and then Andre was chiming in a lot on this because there was kind of mixed in with a little bit of Shakana stuff too. So they have like a mini break. Andre goes up to Shakana during it and is like, "Why do you think I'm toxic?" Blah blah blah. And she's like, "Get out of my face! Like, get out of my face! Like, is this how you talk to a woman? Are you woman shaming me or something like that?" Just the dumbest fight. Like they're both just such a mess. And then that's when we go into there's like they finally go into the break, and Danielle's like asked Shakana that question, like, "Hey, like you have a lot to say about everybody else. Like, what have you done that you think you've grown to make your you better or your relationship better?" And she just dances around the question. She walks out, and I guess they were kind of ganging up on her a little bit because it was like literally 1 verse 15, but it's just the delusion. It's hard to look past the delusion and feel bad for some of these people because they're just like so sucked into that world that just is not healthy whatsoever. They come back and Sarper's like, "Oh, I want to come to Turkey and let's like basically implying like if I see you, I'm gonna beat you up." And just everyone's just like, these dudes are just a joke. They they move on to so they move on to Danielle and Yohan, and they go back and say like, "Hey, Yohan, we found somebody that you messaged," and and so they're like, this woman reads these messages like and shows to the screen like it's from him. He says he doesn't know this woman. He doesn't remember the conversation. Then some people are implying like, how many times you must have done this so many times that you don't remember, or he's just like denying it. I mean, I do think he's denying it. I think he's full of crap. She had all the messages ready, like she wasn't messing around. Like, one thing again, I'm surprised this woman also like responded to him. Like, it's kind of strange. Like, I guess people just respond to the messages. It's like that. It's crazy to me. Um, So and then they find out that Danielle has all these like this emails and stuff, and basically saying that like he used her like retreat business to like sleep with women, and one of her friends, I guess, got involved with him for a little bit and like sent her an email, and she pulls out this email with all these like redacted lines and things like that. So, do I think Johan is bad, dude? Yes, definitely, but it just I don't know. Danielle definitely does some stuff wrong too. I don't want to say that she's 100% a saint in this situation, but it's just I don't know. She can't like when she pulled out the email and it had like crossed out stuff. I was just like, what is this? Like this isn't like a law office or something. I don't know. Johan makes a comment that he was unfaithful to her. I mean, he's like again, just the delusion is overflowing on the set. It's crazy. And that's pretty much where it ends. And Danielle says that she will be filing for divorce. No surprise there. They kind of do a couple accident, not like just like brief statements with some people, and some of it's like pretty obvious about like, hey, I want to work on my relationship, blah blah blah. She kind of just walks out. She's like, oh, everybody does. I don't need anybody to like me, blah blah blah. And I just, yeah, yeah, she's so far gone, it's insane. And then we kind of end on Kimberly. Kimberly's like, I'm gonna stay in America for 4 months at least to hang out with my family, but she's just like totally unsure. Like, what is TJ? She loves TJ. Says she loves TJ, but is he gonna be in her life? And I don't think this will be the last that we see of them. I know like they do bounce around. Like Kenny and Armando were from season 2, and Yohan and Danielle were from season 4. So I wonder if maybe um, Kimberly and TJ maybe on a future season, maybe Shakana and Sarper. Like it's very possible. It's very possible. And I thought it was a good season. I know these seasons run super, super long, but they're good. They're good. And it is on my list to watch seasons 1 through 3. I haven't seen any of those. Maybe get a little more gauge of some of these couples that are on the panel, things like that, and just like a knowledge of this whole entire universe. There's just so much stuff. And if you guys watch any of our other shows on this channel, we cover so many shows. So getting a grasp and backlog of everything is time consuming and tough, but I can promise right here that I'm working on it. This is my right hand. I promise I'm working on those things. Watch it. So hopefully by the next season, maybe I can have, because I thought the other season came really quick from season 4. So depending on when season 6 comes back, I'm hoping to maybe have at least one of the first 3 seasons under my belt. But no promises. Tons of Love Island to watch, tons of other things, so much other stuff that just it never ends. It never ends. But like I always say at the end of these episodes, if you guys have any show suggestions, let me know. I'm always down to check stuff out, especially if it's maybe a new show coming out, and we can always add it to the list, give it a try, and see what the feedback is like. But appreciate you guys for watching. Sorry we didn't do every single episode of the season. It's like I said, we cover a lot of things, and it becomes a lot. And this is one of the ones that we kind of had to drop, but obviously the tell all I was watching. I was watching The Shadows, just not doing reviews, but the tell all I had to come back because it was crazy. It looked crazy and it delivered, and it always does. So thank you guys for watching, and we will see you guys for season 6 and other episodes that you find interesting that we do. Bye.